Yes, yes, I want it. I want it right now. Give me the child.
There's too many of them.
Oh my gosh.
Holy crap.
They're so fat. They're causing the whole ship to fall apart.
Oh my gosh, no, you gotta go this way.
Run for your life.
You gotta go back through. Oh no.
Well, hello there, Internet. How are you? Hope you're doing well. It is currently little just past noon on a Tuesday, and here I am in the basement by myself once again, recording a reaction to a Nostalgia Critic video. This time it's the Banana Splits movie. So I'll clarify this. I've seen the movie, and I also have seen the original. I was aware of the Banana Splits before the movie released. I even told my mom about it. My mom grew up with the Banana Splits, and she told me that she was interested in seeing it. I'm just like, it's not what you think. It's actually a horror film, and she literally just was like, a horror film with the Banana Splits? Really? Like, yeah. And I showed her the trailer, and she just started dying laughing. Oh God. So yeah, the Banana Splits. I'm sure Doug will go into the full deal of it, but it was a very short-lived show, but it lived on in syndication for a long time, and it was during late night, when I couldn't sleep. I was a night owl even as a kid. I would stay up and I would watch Cartoon Network, and they would have late reruns of this show. Like, I think it was just around midnight, before Toonami did the midnight run, where they were playing Gundam Wing Uncut and Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, God, that makes me feel so old now. But I know Fleagle, Beagle, Drooper, and Snort. So yeah, I know all their names and everything. And I'm hoping that, I'm wondering what Doug's going to think about it. I thought this movie was actually pretty damn good. It's, once again, it plays into the Five Nights at Freddy's, animatronics come to life and kill people. But it's doing it before the actual Five Nights at Freddy's movie is coming out. So, either way, I guess let's just go ahead and hop into this. This is the Banana Splits movie, review by the Nostalgia Critic. Get it up on screen, and here we go. Oh. Yeah, I know.
Ladies and gentlemen, behold
There we go.
the creepy and depraved, the bizarre creations not meant for the normal world.
Yeah.
Embrace the twisted weirdness of freak show cinema.
Well, that's...
In 1968, Hanna-Barbera released their first live-action series, The Banana Splits. Even though it wasn't animated, you could still tell it was Hanna-Barbera. It had animals with silly voices using instruments to play songs of the era, and a supposed live studio audience that, well, seemed about as plausible as Scooby-Doo having a live studio audience.
Someday I'm gonna roll these bananas into a basketball and bounce them the heck out of here.
Yeah, that'd get me howling too. Though it only ran for 31 episodes, it lived on in syndication up until the early 80s. Since then, it's somewhat faded into obscurity. There are some people who remember it, usually those who say, pair it with SpongeBob and HR Puffin stuff.
Oh my God.
But didn't exactly get a whole lot of people talking anymore. Though wait, is it me or do they kinda look like the characters from the smash hit Five Nights at Freddy's movie? In 2019, a very different version of the Banana Splits was released. It was a self-aware horror film where the Splits were robots that get angry when they discover their kid show has been canceled and take it out on an unsuspecting crowd. I'm just gonna say it, this idea is amazing. It's a clever way to cash in on something that's already popular without necessarily ripping it off. The Banana Splits have been around since the 60s, and there always has been something kinda creepy about them.
All the members of the Banana Splits who aren't here, do not raise your hands.
Okay, a lot creepy about them. It's
Oh,
well known
come
enough
now,
to
it's
still
not
have a
that
little bit of a
bad.
fan base, but obscure enough to bring in a new crowd who will probably laugh their asses off discovering this was an actual show. With everything
Well-
pointing to this becoming a cult classic, the response was kind of mixed. The consensus seems to be the film is very standard, not many unique characters, surprises, or even laughs. But this does raise the question, is that intentional? Certain horror films can be like Christmas rom-coms. Hear me out.
He's right. No, he's right. No, I mean, Cabin in the Woods basically proved this. I mean, you know, you have to follow the formula. You have to, you know... people who get pissy about the fact that horror films are dime a dozen, much like Christmas rom-coms, I mean, Doug's right.
It's not that the target audience wants the exact same thing every time, but the expectancy for certain tropes can outweigh the absence of newer ideas.
Yeah.
For example, when Halloween 2018 came out, it was built up as a brand new spin, the real sequel to the series, the one where anything can happen. And there was very little new to it. Jamie Lee was a little older, she kicked a little more ass, but everything else kinda just followed the traditional formula. And people loved it. They loved it because that's part of the charm of these movies. Seeing people act like dumbasses, making the same mistakes, and getting obliterated by the slasher.
Although I will say this, the intelligence of the characters in the first new Halloween movie, Halloween 2018, far outweighs the intelligence of the sequels, Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. Dear God. Don't get me wrong, they're not going to win any Nobel Peace Prizes in the 2018 Halloween film, but oh my God, I was seriously considering just how are people this dumb? How are people this stupid in a movie? I'm glad it's over. I'm glad they finally killed it off because I got nothing else. I got nothing else for the Halloween franchise. Even though I love... yeah. Yeah. I chose my shirt wisely for this, I guess. I love the Halloween franchise. But I've come to hate certain aspects of it. And the final two Halloween films, I think it's impossible to like them. I don't.
But again, that's not saying everything stays the same. The ways the characters are dumb and obnoxious are altered, the creative ways they're killed are altered, and the mixture of modern updates and classic cliches are also altered. The same can be said for Christmas rom-coms. We know they're cheesy and repeat the same formula, but that's part of the fun. The various ways Christmas is shown, talked about, and ridiculously worked into these idiot stories is what makes us have a good time with it. So with that in mind, where does Banana Splits fall? Is the idea so clever and funny that it can overcome, even work well with its run-of-the-mill story and characters? Well, let's look at the setup. Pretty much from the beginning you can tell this is not going to be a faithful adaptation of the show, even factoring in the genre change. Here's a clip from the original series.
What if Yellow wear the mask and yells, "Hi-ho, Silver"?
The lone banana?
Now here's one from the movie.
We have to get Trooper out of Mr. Walderscheid's fence. Again.
There's not even an attempt to make these things feel like they're alive. And even the human characters in the show act like, yeah, I'm in on it. This is pretty lame, huh? Despite Hanna-Barbera being famously cheap, they did try to work in a lot of personality. This film from frame one wants you to look at them like dead-eye puppets. But as you'll later see, there might be a reason for that. We're introduced to Beth.
Actually, I remember there was a Banana Splits animated movie. I think it was like an animated special where they had to save somebody. Gosh, my memory is terrible on this. But I thought they worked in an animated format in some ways better than the live action. And if this show would have continued as a animated flick or animated joint, I would have seen that as being something that would potentially last longer. But anyway.
Played by Danny Kind, who has 2 boys named Harley and Austin. Harley is super excited to see the Banana Splits live in person for his birthday, while his stepdad and friend hostess Zoe, who is forced to go along, are less enthused.
We're not even friends. Well, maybe he wants to be.
Naturally, at the show, which is filmed in front of an audience in this universe, that alone is pretty funny. They come across a slew of colorful characters. A desperate dad who wants his daughter to be discovered.
You want to get discovered or not? Because if you're not committed to this, you tell me. Right now.
A pair of tubers, I'm not exactly sure what they are here.
Instabook, Twitter, Twitter tube, but whatever. I mean, it's probably an app that they just made up for this, but 218 people watching. It's not bad. It's not bad at all.
What's up, you guys? It's your boy Thad, Mr. Thadtastic.
Thad. Oh my lord, what a name! You see, that's the beta version of like Chad, in which we have a Chad. Yeah, he. Oh gosh, they had a hell of a time last night while trying to play Resident Evil 2 remake. Y'all should check that out. That was freaking hilarious. But yeah, sorry.
All my fans.
And the unhappy people behind the scenes who find the only thing they hate more than working on the show is not working on it. As they discover when the new guy in charge, who does not look or act like a new guy in charge.
The Banana Split show is done. It's my call.
That's beta Mark Rober. Jesus Christ. Oh my. Like look at him right here and just be like, tell me this is not a beta version of Mark Rober. He's just like, yeah, I flew a drone to Mars, and now I'm canceling the Banana Splits.
A new guy in charge.
The Banana Split show is done. It's my call. Live with it.
Dude, you just got done putting the cleaning supplies away. What are you doing smoking a cigar? Says the Banana Splits are going to be canceled. Once the robotic stars catch wind of this, they slowly but surely start kidnapping people to keep the show going forever. The premise sounds promising enough, but believe me when I say these characters are boring as sin. They're all stock cutouts that go through the motions you would think they would go through. Sometimes off screen. The friend forced to go with at first has no interest in the show. Then completely out of nowhere, she's a fan.
I don't want to see the Banana Splits. That show's for babies. Can't believe I'm actually here. I can't believe I'm actually enjoying it.
There was no moment in between indicating she changed her mind. This couple trying to become web personalities is ripe for satire. But let me tell you, as someone who makes a living online obsessing over nostalgic properties, these two need to be a lot lamer.
We're here.
Although I will say this, there are influencers out there who are actually pretty approachable and have a good like presentable like personality online. I mean, it's cringe when you think about it, but yeah, I don't know.
Studio.
And we're gonna be going live all day long behind the scenes.
Oh, mistake one. It looks like you bathed. The only interesting characters are the...
That's unfair, Doug. Do I look like I took a shower about 2 hours ago? Does it look like I bathed? I mean, internet. Does it look like I had myself a shower?
The ones who work because they ironically are good at playing non-interested people. The producers sometimes can get a laugh.
6 years on a kid's show and I get fired.
Time to fly.
Yeet.
The brother sounds so unenthusiastic about literally everything, it's kind of hard not to love him.
You're not supposed to be back here.
It is true. Stage 1 is the oldest soundstage at Taft Studios. We're at a taping of the Banana Split. Maybe he's hiding somewhere. He probably doesn't want to leave. Mom, that was seriously badass.
And the Paige, literally named Paige, goes back and forth between hating her job and pretending she doesn't hate her job so convincingly, it's hard not to have respect for her.
Paige the Page. Guess you could say I was born to do this job. God, I hope not.
Everyone else ranges from kind of...
You see, there are people I've met who can do that, who can put on the face that they give a shit. You know, they're out there like, all right, everybody, let's go. Let's do this. Let's have fun. And then as soon as, like, they're out of the public eye, it just, like... God, where's the alcohol?
Passable to forgettable, with a lot of their line reads not exactly being the most riveting.
Are they doing the Snarky Shuffle?
I tried to tell them that it's wrong, but they wouldn't listen.
There's some messed up stuff right here. You love them, don't you?
Yes.
I love them too. They're my favorite.
Woof. But as you'll discover,
Yeah.
it can lead to some pretty amusing punchlines. Take this pushy father trying to turn his daughter into a star.
Stop chewing on your hair. I just paid $70 for that blowout and straighten up.
This is such cookie-cutter dialogue we've seen a million times, with the girl never being allowed to say anything.
She would realize that she had a star standing right in front of her. Probably even give you a promotion for making the introduction.
But when he gets a chance to show her off to the producer and the girl finally talks...
This is not... Yeah. I remember when this happened, I was just like, oh. Also, I knew he was gonna bite the dust.
I could not predict this is what he was building up.
What you gonna do with all that junk? All that junk inside your trunk?
Out. Bye.
That
Get
is
out.
disturbing.
This is the only payoff we get with these two, and it's hilariously underwhelming. Yeah, he gets killed off, but that's to be expected. For all that build-up with this kid never talking, and that's what we get, it's brilliantly pathetic.
Thank you for the opportunity.
And if you stick with the movie, you find that's kind of what works about it. Whether it's aware of it or not, the first half lures you into a bland, unassuming state, so that its hilariously extreme second half catches you by surprise in what it does and doesn't come through with. How extreme is that second half? Well, I think we need a 90s commercial in order to prepare you for it.
So, the kids... I will never forget, as long as I live, Napoleon Dynamite, the time where Lyle shoots the cow whenever the school bus is passing by. All of a sudden you see Lyle out there, he's like, hey, follow me. Alright. And then you see the cow just like, and then just, as soon as the school bus passes by, boom, headshot. You just hear the kids screaming on the school bus. Oh, God. Whew. That still to this day is like one of my funniest, to me, one of the funniest things ever. Because a little shock comedy never hurt nobody. Except for those kids.
Hey, Mom and Dad!
Oh.
You don't get it! ExpressVPN has the taste kids love!
Wow.
Using the internet without ExpressVPN is like riding your skateboard without a helmet or knee pads, while also allowing
A 90s commercial talking about the internet. Wow, that's something.
online information to be seen by anybody. That's why you need sugar-coated ExpressVPN. Internet service providers like
Hey, I use
Verizon
ExpressVPN.
know
Matter
every
of fact,
single website you visit.
there it is.
ISPs can sell this
Hey.
information to ad companies and tech giants, who then use your data to target you. Not today, tech giants, because ExpressVPN is there to help. To the extreme! ExpressVPN creates a secure, encrypted tunnel between your device and the internet, so people can't peep on your online activity, with cinnamon and sugar in every bite. Just fire up the app and click one button. It's rated #1 by CNET, Wired, and The Verge. It works on phones, laptops, even routers, so everyone who shares your Wi-Fi can be protected. And is part of a complete breakfast. I use it because my information is important to me. Can you imagine a grown-up seeing what pizza toppings you like? That's why you need ExpressVPN. Secure your online activity by visiting expressvpn.com/nostalgiacritic today. That's expressvpn.com/nostalgiacritic. And you can get an extra 3 months free. That's expressvpn.com/nostalgiacritic. And now with 2 proof of purchase, you can also get Omen.
Omen officially has nothing to do with ExpressVPN. This is just a funny segue.
Sick of all those randos sliding into your team chat whenever you and your friends are grouped up in your favorite games? Then you need your own private oasis, your own paradise in the, let's face it, what can't be a wasteland of online gaming.
I mean, there's always Discord. I use Discord, bro. I don't need Omen's Oasis.
What's online? Oasis is a free and easy-to-use add-on for Omen Gaming Hub that creates a virtual room for you and up to 15 of your friends for private gaming and watch parties. But Oasis isn't just any virtual room. How come I'm a kid but I look almost 40? With low latency, 720p, 30 FPS screen sharing, and seamless audio quality, you can quit worrying about technical difficulties, stop arguing over who has the worst internet connection, and get to playing. And because you can use voice or text chat while you share your screen or play along with someone else's, Oasis is the best way to hang out when we can't, you know, hang out. What is this place? Make sure you have Omen Gaming Hub installed, then get the Oasis add-on to build your own gaming paradise. Play together, watch together, chat together, share together. All with Oasis by Omen. Go to bit.ly/nostalgiaoasis to download Oasis on the Omen Gaming Hub and try out the beta now. To the extreme!
The beta?
Wait, how do I get
Beta?
out of here? Head to this link today.
Nostalgia Oasis. You know what? That would be an awesome name for a video gaming store. The Nostalgia Oasis. That could work.
I think that's a fitting amount of extreme. Let's continue. First off, the show now has an obstacle course for kids. As far as I can tell, there's never been anything like this for that totally real studio audience that was there, but you could always say this was just an add-on in this universe. Like, if the show kept going, it would evolve into this. Yeah. When the Pots take over, they force the producer of the show and the abusive father to run through it. This is one of those moments where the more seriously it's taken, the funnier it is.
Yeah.
If the music was big and the lighting bright and colorful, this would not be as amusing. But keeping it standard, dark, and gritty makes the surreality of it all the more hilarious.
Yeah. She did it! He took it down to Hammertown!
They also talk more as the film goes on, too. At first, I was really turned off by the fact they barely said a word and...
Oh, instead of the "she took it down to Hammertown," instead it would just been like, "Boy, she really put the hammer down, huh?"
Had no personalities, unlike the show. But again, it makes you think they're not going to talk much in the second half. So when they do, it's surprisingly really, really funny. Especially when they start killing people off.
All of our friends are here. Now the show can go on forever and ever. Smoking's bad for your health.
One of my favorite moments is this completely out of nowhere bond the youngest boy has with Snorky the elephant. Like the others, he practically says nothing, but the boy randomly declares he's different.
I can't trust him. It's Snorky. He's different.
Again, he didn't...
Again, that line reading. That's Snorky. He's different. I know he's a kid, but God, Jesus.
Do a damn thing to separate himself from the others, but that doesn't stop him from out of nowhere saving the day.
Snorky, you'll always be my favorite.
It's so pointlessly spontaneous, it cracks me up. This all builds up to the climax where the robots are putting on another version of the show with the parents all murdered, the kids chained up in the audience, and the folks that were gonna cancel the show being horribly mutilated in the wackiest of ways.
Banana split! What's a banana split?
It's exactly what you think it is. It is exactly what you think it is, and... Yeah, that's what I figured. I was gonna say, Doug, I know you got 2 sponsors for this, but even that I don't think they would allow. I think they'd age gate it if you showed that shit.
This is the highlight of the movie, and a lot of it is, again, because they didn't talk before. It's almost as if the movie was keeping their personalities a secret at first, so when it does get to the more gruesome parts, it's all the funnier to hear them chuckle and cheer. But that's not even the funniest surprise. Remember those 2 web personalities that never got a laugh? Well, one of them gets sawed in half. That's kind of standard for a film like this,
a very
but again,
rough way to
on
get
top of
sawed in
the funny
half,
commentary, they actually make the girlfriend watch. Like, she tries to run away, and they force her to witness it. In any other film, this would be incredibly disturbing, but because it is those big-eyed, silly-faced characters holding her, it's incredibly humorous. But that's not even where the joke ends. The girlfriend goes totally insane and tries turning herself into the 5th banana split. What do they end up doing with her? Pretty much nothing.
Yeah.
She runs over the cheating stepdad and sequel baits the next one, driving off with all the destroyed bots. I guess you could see this as a cheap letdown, but I don't know. I was not expecting this boring standard-ass character who started off like this to end like this. A part of me really laughs hard that they didn't utilize her in the story except as a throwaway joke at the end, similar to what they did with Steve Buscemi in Con Air.
Damn. Yeah, bit of a throwaway joke, but at the same time, we sort of kind of see his character growth whenever he interacts with the innocence of that little girl. You know, she's like sitting there having a little tea party, and he comes along, and he's just astounded by how innocent and how trusting she is. And you're led to think that something bad's gonna happen. But fortunately, it doesn't. And although he is free at the end of the movie, there's things about also Steve Buscemi's teeth. Oh.
And on top of that, a slew of creative deaths I can't show because YouTube sucks, and I weirdly find myself having a pretty good time. For the second half.
But
part of why I enjoyed the second half is because the first half tricked me into thinking it was going to be boring and standard as hell.
Yeah.
So how do you rate that? It's a fine line between self-awareness working for you and self-awareness working against you. To be effective in certain horror comedies, you have to treat silly material seriously. But how serious is too serious? And for that matter, how silly is too silly? Films like Dead Snow, Scream, and Sleepaway Camp work in their own way because it feels like the filmmakers are being genuine. But they also knew how to work in humor with their characters because, well, that's part of how you get audiences to like them. But some of their sequels, like Dead Snow 2, Scream 3, and Sleepaway Camp 4, fall short because they became too self-aware. This isn't like Zombieland or Tucker and Dale, where it's a comedy first, then horror. These all started out with the charm of not knowing if they were meant to be taken seriously or not.
Yeah, and there's a lot that is up in the air when it comes to these films. I mean, right here, Scream had such a crazy concept of just we're led to believe that Drew Barrymore is front and center. She's the face on the trailer, or she's the face on the poster right here, and we're led to believe that she's gonna be the main actress. But then the opening happens. And for those of you who haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil it, but God, it's just a complete out of left field, out of nowhere crazy kind of thing. Anyway.
But with the banana splits, the idea alone is clearly satirical. Everyone knows that going in. It is possible they decided to have little to no humor early on so they wouldn't fall into the same category as these sequels. But that leaves a pretty dull first half. That does follow the tropes a lot of horror fans like, but not in an interesting way. Which might be on purpose. See why this is hard to review?
Yeah.
I give credit that a film like this knows it can be botched if it gets too jokey or winks at the camera too much. But how much less is more?
I would say if they would have had a little bit more comedic effect, not too much in the beginning. I mean, because there's balance. There's balance that you can have here, and I think if they would have had a little more comedic balance, the film would have been a lot better. But still, the film was pretty good.
For me, I think it works just enough. Do I wish the leads were more interesting and the killer bots had more personality? Yes, but I do think it's possible this was by choice, and it does build up to some very entertaining moments because of that. It's similar to Krampus. The memory the film leaves may actually be better than the film itself. I stand by that is technically achieving its goal. It doesn't make a great film you can watch over and over and over, but it can still remain with you for the intended reasons it's supposed to. The Banana Splits movie can be a success solely on the fact that it merely exists. A person could leave the film underwhelmed, but still look back laughing that they tried to do this with an obscure children's show and in such a serious manner. If you love the movie, I get it. If you hate the movie, I get that too. It's a film that's hard to universally agree
I think it's
on
good.
because it's in a
I just don't
genre
think
that's
that it's
both
the best thing
formulaic
ever.
and experimental. Will it be remembered years from now? I don't know. I doubt the creators had anything like this planned for it decades earlier. Maybe we'll be too busy talking about the Saved by the Bell slasher film to remember this even existed.
Or the Winnie the Pooh slasher film, Blood and Honey.
What I can say now about it, though, is it's a funny idea that knows it has to be serious to be funny. But that commitment will vary from person to person because comedy, like horror, is, and always will be, subjective. Tra-la-la-la-la.
Tra-la-la, tra-la-la-la.
I'm a nostalgia critic guy, remember, so you don't have to.
Are they doing the Snorky Shuffle?
Snorky Shuffle. Do the snort. I don't know what the Snorky Shuffle is. It has been too freaking long since I watched Banana Splits. Also, the Banana Splits had little short shows within it. There was one called Danger Island, another called like The Three Musketeers. That one was animated. I think there was one or two more, but I can't remember the other ones. But I remember Danger Island because I thought that was pretty freaking. I thought that was a pretty freaking like interesting show back then. Watching it now, it's like it wouldn't be accepted under the PC label that we have nowadays. But yeah, this whole thing is just if they ever do another one of these, I think it would be interesting. I mean, there might be potential there for it to have something special or something additional with it. I shouldn't say special, but it should have something that would add to the original. But I don't know. I think maybe just a one shot and then leave it at that. I think that'd be perfectly fine. Anyway, though, the Banana Splits movie, I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was. I would give it like a 6.5, 7 out of 10. It was fun for what it was. I think it could have been better if they'd had a little bit, like Doug said, they made the characters a little more interesting, or if they had a little bit more comedy to add here and there. Yeah, I think that would have carried us through the first half of the film without any dragging or anything like that. But anyway, yeah, that's going to do it for this. This was the Nostalgia Critic's review of the Banana Splits movie. If you wanted to see more from the Nostalgia Critic, feel free to click the channel awesome name in the title of the video. And until next time, I'm Nate. I'll see you then. Peace.